you get so big that you hold of this kind?
Hello, I'm here preparing food for my pet crested gecko that I refer to as my pet Krayt dragon. I pronounce it Krat because I think Krayt invokes the image of a giant box coming to eat you, and I don't particularly like that, but I've been told that is the incorrect pronunciation, but I don't care. So I'm going to refer to it as Krat from here on out, but just so no one tries to correct me, I'm aware it's wrong. I'm just choosing to be wrong. But I have a pet crested gecko, like I said, and I want to introduce y'all to him. Some of you may have seen him on Twitter, but I'm going to introduce you to him and a little bit of what I do for him. So this is his dinner, as it were. He starts with a bunch of food. So I have frozen red raspberries, frozen black raspberries, frozen blueberries, just to get, and now some green grapes, just because all of the colors of the rainbow are edible. Crap, this is really hard to do one-handed. But I'm going to mash this up together into a goo, and then add the secret ingredient, which we'll get to in a moment. So here, I am mashing up all of that frozen stuff. These grapes have proven troublesome. They are firmer than grapes I have used in the past. So I'm in the process of mashing all this up into goop, and it is really difficult to have good camera work right now, so I'm sorry. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, YB, wouldn't it be easier to use a blender? And I'm saying, I don't know. And now you're thinking, YB, isn't that a blender right there? Can't you just use that blender? And I'm gonna say, you know what? I got a really good answer for that, and that is, blenders scare me, first of all, because the top could fly off and everything could die. Secondly, it's so much easier to wash a bowl and a masher thing than it is to wash a blender. Thirdly, you don't know me or my life, so shh. I'm in the process of mashing this up. Really, I don't have to do this process all together all that often. Obviously, one little gecko is not going to eat all of this in a night. I like to make enough food to last several weeks. And then I freeze it, and then that way I just have to drop like little food tablets in. So this will actually last me for a while. I'm gonna finish mashing this up. We're really, really close to secret ingredient time, and show you in a minute. Now that this is all mashed up properly, we're going to put all of this into this measuring cup for the purposes of knowing how much I have made, so I know how much of the secret ingredient to add. And at this point you might go, but YB, since you're so concerned about dishes, doesn't the blender have a measuring cup on it, and therefore you wouldn't need to do this? And I'm going to just say once again, shut up about the blender. I don't know why you like blenders so much. This is a significantly more superior way of doing things.
I'm a little attached to this blender, Robert.
Yeah, well, some people meditate, some people get massages. I blend.
You're really weird, you know that?
So we have approximately 2 cups of fruit, which might be a problem, which I'll get to in a second. But here's the secret ingredient. Pangea fruit mix complete with insects. Mmm, yummy. Look how happy that little Cresty is with his great Pangea fruit mix. This is powdered bugs, is what it is. So my little guy's an insectivore and a fruitivore. I'm sure there's a word for fruitivore, but I don't know it. But basically, this stuff is technically healthy enough where if I just mixed it with water, he'd be happy and healthy. But that's gross. Who just wants, like, powdered bug water? So I mix it in with, like, fruit. Where I'm going to get an issue is for every tablespoon of fruit, I need a teaspoon of this. So if I have 2 cups, I have to ask Siri every time, but Siri tells me that there are 16 tablespoons in a cup, and I have 2 cups, which means I need 32 teaspoons, and I'm not sure I have 32 teaspoons left. So we're gonna start with, figuring out how much powder I have left, and then go from there. But this is what makes it super de duper healthy. All right, we ended up at about 30 teaspoons when I needed 32, so we're darned close. So I'm gonna just not use quite all of this, which is fine. It's honestly kind of an imperfect science for me to figure out, like, ah, crap, that's actually all of it, hold on. To figure out how to go from like frozen size to like mashed up in a paste size. So we'll just put like a little, sorry, you're not even seeing what I'm doing. Put like a little bit of this grossness back in. That looks like an appropriate fraction. And now becomes the real fun part of, I mean, if you thought this fruit was appetizing before, I mean, just, oh, look at it now. Like, don't you just wanna, And who doesn't want fruit mixed with insect paste, you know? It's just so delectable. This powder, by the way, smells really fruity. But like, not good fruity, but like you accidentally left the fruit out for like 3 days kind of fruity. It's great. But I'm gonna go ahead and mix this in, and we'll be back here in a hot second. Ah, dumping crop. All right, so here it is, all done up. I'll get you a nice scoop of that. Look at that, isn't that yummy? Fruit paste. It's got a nice mushy texture to it. And now what I do is I take scoops of it and I put it in these are ice cube makers with like little poppable rubber bottoms and stuff. This is just easier because it puts them in like a usable shape. I would do something really neat, like in theory I would do like a really neat time-lapse shot of me filling all these in, but I am home alone and cannot do this one-handed, nor do I have a neat shoulder rig, so I'm not going to do that. But in your mind, imagine just with me now that you're going to watch a time-lapse of me putting goop in all of these things. So here they are all filled in. Super great, looking like weird fruit pops. I had a little bit extra, so I'm going to put some others on a paper plate here. And I'm just going to throw these suckers into a freezer, and then tomorrow morning, sometime, I'm going to pop them into a bag and a little baggie, and then I keep those in the freezer. You can see the fruit that I put in earlier. And here I had one, not potatoes, I don't feed them potatoes. I had one meal left, so this is what they look like when they're done. I'll show you the other ones when I take them out. This one's a slightly different color because it has watermelon in it. I am outside of the season for watermelon, so I couldn't get him more watermelon. But watermelon is his favorite. I didn't use watermelon for a long time, then I used it once and he just like lost his frickin' mind. But yeah, I'm gonna pop these in the freezer and then I will introduce you to the dragon himself. And then sometime later I'll finish this up and show you what I got. Okay, here is the dragon's lair. As you can see, it is a very tropical one and not a desert one like the Krayt dragon or the Crested dragon. You may have seen this tank in the background of a couple of my videos. You could probably usually see it when I'm streaming, or you've seen it in a couple of the interviews I've done. It's wide open right now. My critter is nocturnal, so he will not move in the day unless he's disturbed. So I can leave it wide open like this, no problem, during the day, which I never do unless I'm cleaning it or something. But I'm gonna try to show you him. He's totally supposed to be docile, but he's right there. I got this particular type of gecko because I wanted something I could handle, something I could hold. And they're supposed to be really nice, only mine tries to eat me all of the time. He's tried to bite me twice. He doesn't have teeth, so it doesn't hurt. It feels like somebody like pinched a clothespin on my hand. Like I can feel pressure, but it doesn't hurt. I can see his eyes are open. He's super not liking this. Oh yeah, he's tried to attack me a couple of times, so I just leave him alone. He's kind of feral. I think he's half tokay gecko, which if you know geckos at all, yeah, those guys are like actually will try to eat you or something. But he's got this really cool pattern. He's got spots. The guy at the pet store I go to described them as Harley Quinn spots, which I really like. But he's a cutie. I held him at the pet store and fell in love with him, and then tried to hold him at home, and he tried to eat me. It really got worse a couple of months ago when Monster Hunter World came out for the PS4. I was watching two of our chat mods, Bare Naked Gaming and the Couch Bum, as well as a buddy of mine, the Runaway Robot. They were all streaming Monster Hunter World, and I was watching a lot of that. And ever since, he's been insufferable. Like, he like runs around the tank like a tyrant. So I think he decided he's related to the critters from Monster Hunter World. But you can see his little face there. Oh, the other reason why I'm not messing with him is, like most lizards, he will drop his tail if he's afraid. So geckos, like lizards, have a defense mechanism where if they feel attacked, they will drop their tail. They will literally detach their tail, completely sever their tail from their bodies, and leave it twitching, and like it'll literally like twitch on its own. So like if a bird tries to eat it or something, it will go for the tail. And most lizards, when they do that, can grow their tail back. He cannot grow his tail back if he ever drops it. So if he ever loses his tail, he's lost it for good. And that's the other reason why I'm a little bit afraid to handle him, is I don't want to be responsible for making him lose a body part, especially when he can't grow back. So that's another reason why I want to leave him alone. I was going to move those plants, but they're kind of tied into his tail, and I don't want to freak him out. But there's my little cutie. He's got his little velociraptor eyes staring at me. Yeah, that's the mighty Krayt dragon of Michigan right there. All right, and later on, here is the finished product. So if you look at this, I don't know if you can really see the texture in the video super well, but it's not frozen. It's not like ice cream. It almost is like, you know that moon sand? Any other 90s kids out there that remember that crap? Like you pour it in the water and it would form those sand. I don't know, maybe no one knows what I'm talking about. But this is the done product. So I'm gonna pop this stuff out of these, which is really hard to do actually. Even though these are designed to be easily popped out, it sticks to the sides more so than normal water does. But I'm gonna put all this stuff in a baggie, and once again I'd show you a time lapse, but just a little of me here. So imagine, if you will, with your minds, this stuff popping out of the thing and going into a bag. And I will be back with you in a second. All right, two baggies ready to go. This is what the tray looks like all emptied out, so I just drop it in the sink, pop some water into it. These can go right in the dishwasher, which makes it super easy and convenient, which is what I'm all about. So then I'm gonna grab these, put them in fancy freezer drawer. Hold on, I know countertop is so stimulating. But I'm just gonna grab these, stick them in the freezer next to the shredded potatoes, and whatever else is in here, and close it up. And that's where all this stuff is stored. But yeah, that's how I feed my crested gecko. I absolutely love having a crested gecko. I recommend them highly as pets. I think a lot of people like to stay away from reptiles and amphibian-like creatures because they think they're a lot of work. And they are a lot of work. You know, doing that for food prep is a lot harder than going to the store and buying a bag of dog or cat food. Taking care of the tank is a lot harder than, you know, having a mat, like a pillow or something for your creature to sleep on. But really the best benefit is they're just darn cool. You can see today he's sleeping over there again. I'm on a different day than the last time we saw him in here, and he's sleeping nose up this time. You can see this is one of the batches of fruit from the paper plate. But they're just really neat to have. And yeah, they seem like a lot of work, but, you know, I don't have to take him outside anytime he has to pee, and I don't have to change a litter box. And yeah, the tank and the lights are expensive, and the plants were something I had to buy, but he doesn't have a vet bill, you know what I mean? It's all in what you want and how you want to do it, what you think, basically how you want to spend your time and your money. I know for a lot of people they don't really like reptile or amphibian pets because, you know, at least with a dog or a cat you get like the emotional support. Personally, that's what I like about reptiles. I can leave the house for a couple of days and he hasn't torn up the couch because I wasn't there. This is way more my style. I like having something that's cool looking, something that's fun to watch, something that does cool things, something that kind of gives me a hobby, gives me something to do, but at the same time, it's not something that's going to spill a drink on my keyboard. But that's just me. I certainly enjoy other people's mammals, but as for myself, I prefer to hang out with reptiles and amphibians as a general rule. I'm just very confused about where I should be standing. I keep like roaming around my living quarters, not really sure where to do, or anyway. But if you see anything with my little guy that I could be doing differently, if you have any kind of like crested gecko or reptile hacks, let me know. Maybe if you've never considered it, consider getting a little guy like that for yourself, because there's some pretty stunning ones out there too, that are just really good. And I will see you around. Until next time, keep it real and fly casual.
Cooking can be fun.